Even though I didn't love this movie, I gotta pay respect to Steven Soderbergh, who gives us a different type of way of approaching a ghost story. A family becomes convinced they are not alone after moving into their new home in the suburbs. This is not your typical horror film. You are not going to get your jump scares, your bloody violence, your gore. This is more of a supernatural, psychological drama thriller with a touch of horror. Because this is still, at the end of the day, a movie about a ghost, and you are in the perspective of the ghost during the entire duration of this 90-minute movie. And thank God it's that long, because if it was any longer, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much as I did. So with that being said, please don't expect a lot of jump scares. You will be sorely disappointed. Steven Soderbergh not only directs this film, he shot the film himself, because he's actually a cinematographer in case people forgot, and he also edited this film. And by the way, fun fact, this movie was shot in 10 days with a $2 million budget.
Honestly, it's impossible.
If more studios could follow the steps of these horror studios like Neon, I know they do other kinds of films, but they're mainly known, I believe, for horror movies, these big studios would actually learn something and actually get a return of profit. Now, I haven't seen the box office, so here's hoping for you presents. This movie's also written by David Koepp, who most famously is known for writing the movie Jurassic Park and a bunch of other movies, and over the last couple years, he's honestly not doing so well. But I heard he's doing the new Jurassic World movie, so hopefully he's got something there going. What we get from these two creative geniuses is something that is unique, but is bogged down by some pretty generic acting from a first-time actor, Eddie Mayday. I actually went to his IMDb, and to make sure to get the proof for you guys, this is his first role, and you can clearly tell because he is the weakest actor compared to everyone else, like Lucy Liu, Chris Sullivan, and Callina Liang. So I would want to put all blame on Eddie, but I gotta honestly put some blame on, number one, the casting director, because out of all the options, they chose this guy, and Steven Soderbergh, who not only is directing this, he is actually filming this film, so he sees firsthand the takes, and then he edits it. I would think at some point, in those three different types of positions, he would look at this execution and say, stop, we need to go again, buddy. Despite that, the way Soderbergh crafts the visual storytelling reminds you why he's one of the best cinematographers working today. He takes an otherwise bland script and elevates certain moments into something that feels, yes, like high art, but it's something that's actually engaging on a visual sense. This story follows a family in the middle of turmoil with a death that recently happened that's affecting this whole entire family and honestly community. You have Lucy Liu playing the wife and mother, and Chris Sullivan playing the husband and father, and they are not at a good position in life right now. While you have this happening, their daughter's going through a season, their son is the typical jockey. I already mentioned him. I don't need to go into any further details. I don't like that character. I don't like his acting. But Chris Sullivan and Lucy Liu and Callina Liang are great in their roles. That is the reminder. That is the key thing going into this film. Just look for their scenes. You're going to be absorbed, especially between the father and daughter duo. Now, as far as the presence goes, I loved the execution and how we are in that perspective, going into each room, peering into a glimpse of someone else's life, but you are in someone else's perspective and you do not know who this person is. And when you find out, it's gonna change how you look at the film. This movie doesn't really lean into horror the way you'd expect. It's not necessarily scary. There are some creepy moments, but it wants to focus on more of the drama, the thrills of a situation. In fact, you might be laughing more than anything while this presence does its thing. And this is where the movie shines, in my opinion. Instead of focusing on gore and violence, that cheap stuff, you know, at times, it wants to say, hey, let's take time with the psychological tension. I don't want to say I felt deeply connected, because that is a problem I have with this movie, is the emotional roots. Just don't hit it for me. Not until the final minute, like literally the last minute, where I almost broke into a moment of tears, but that was it. The build-up, sure, it got me to that point, but it took 85 minutes for me to reach something saying, oh, I actually feel for you now. But back to the tension, it explores the violence that can exist in the mind, that kind we don't even recognize until it's too late. That is one thing I'll give David Koepp credit for. When the movie works, it really works. So overall, Presence, I had a decent time. Sure, the acting can be a bit clunky at times. The thing that I love about movies is how certain directors want to go about with their endings. What are they trying to say? And what Steven Soderbergh and David Koepp are trying to say is something that will, I hope, linger with you long after the credits roll. It's not going to be one of my favorite movies this year. It was just an okay experience. And if you like horror movies, more specifically you like psychological dramas, you will enjoy your time. And I'm going to give Presence a solid 6.5 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. It really means a lot. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, but most importantly, do not forget to be blessed.